like when I finish a solo, I can still breathe normal. I can still think and not be like like exhausted afterwards and stressed because of that. If I'm gonna lose a battle, it's not gonna be because I run out of breath. It's gonna be because the other guy is better than me.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Stance Elements. I'm ChazB, I am your host, and today's show is brought to you by Freestyle Session. When you shop at their online store, use the code Stance Elements at checkout for 20% off your total order. That's right, when you go to freestylesession.com and shop at their online store, use the code Stance Elements for 20% off your total order. Now, it's been a long while since I've seen this guy right here. It's always a pleasure to talk to him. It's Daniel from Absence Crew, all the way from Norway. Brother, it's good to see you again. How's things?
Good to see you too. Everything is good. Norway is opening up again after COVID. Things are starting to happen, so I'm currently on tour. So all good.
That's awesome, man, because I know that Norway has had some hard restrictions in terms of your ability to travel with events and stuff like that, but you have been around. We've seen you at the WDSF event in Sochi, at the Nordic Break League. We've seen you at the WDSF event in France. So how would you summarize the battles that you've had last year?
Well, we started out with the European Championship in Sochi, which was kind of the first battle that year because everything was closed up until that point. So after that, I've been trying to travel as much as possible. Been doing a lot of battles in Norway, did the Unbreakable, was in a battle in Sweden, the Nordic Break League, and also we had the World Championship in December, right before everything closed down again. So it was a good window where I had time to travel, time to test new stuff, and just battle and meet up with all my friends again.
In terms of the battles that you had last year in comparison to maybe a couple of years ago when you were more active, how would you have rated your performance at all of these events?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a challenge to just go straight from practice and then suddenly you're at the European Championship and it's the best b-boys of Europe there. So you kind of it kind of takes away a little bit of your of your confidence because everyone is so good and you're used to practicing alone or with someone else, but it's not that kind of level. So it was hard to start battling again, but as I did it more, I got more and more used to it, and then it got back to normal in the end.
I think you're not alone when you say that. There's got to be lots of people around the world that just got so used to training on their own in lockdown. Obviously, Norway's had some of the hardest restrictions in comparison to other countries. So if you're just used to practicing with yourself or with a couple of others, then you're thrown right into the deep end with the WDSF events. Since these WDSF events, it's quite a new concept in the breaking scene because these are the events that are supposed to test the waters with regards to how it would play out in the Olympics. So how did you find it at these events? Like, talking about the Sochi event first, what was your experience like at the Sochi event? And then how would you say your experience was at the France event at the end of the year?
I would say the Sochi event was pretty good. It was well organized. We had a lot of information, and also when we came to the arena and we were ready and we were starting to warm up, they changed suddenly. They said the B girls were gonna start, and then suddenly the B boys were starting. So some people had had to rush to warm up. Luckily, I was late in the pre-selection, so I had time to warm up. And they had like a screen like this one backstage, and it said like the next 10 people that was going into the prelim and also the battles in later on. And it was really nice to have that overview, to know when you're gonna battle, when you needed to get ready and when you had to stand out like next to the stage to go on. Because usually, you know, you're sitting in the backstage or you're in a corner somewhere and you're trying to keep warm all the time because you never know when they're gonna call your name. So that was very well organized in Sochi. So that was a nice event, and also it was fun to visit Russia and Sochi. It was a nice place to go for a holiday for a day after. And then we came to France for the World Championship in December, which was a little bit different. The venue was very small. I thought it was like the warm up spot, but that's where the event was supposed to be. And there were they cut the event in half, like the same room, but they cut the half like this is B girls and this is B boys, and they had the same DJ. So that when we were battling the pre-selection, it was like random. You could go in on the floor, start your solo, and suddenly the music changes because it's hard for the DJ to, or it's even hard for the people dancing, like the girls and the boys finishing up at the same time. So it's overlapping, you know, which is fine for the prelim, but it was also that in the round robin, which I thought was a little strange, and it was such a small area where you could dance, so that was really hard. And also there was so packed with people, everyone wanted to see the battles, so just to get from backstage and onto the stage was like a struggle, going through like a horde of people. But again, I felt really happy with my with what I did in both battles. It was different for me. I danced one way in Sochi and I danced another way in the World Championship. For the World Championship, I came in. I was injured for 1.5 months before, and I only had like a week where I could like prepare for real for that one. So I came in with my shoulders down. I didn't have any big expectations, and I was there just to represent myself and my country.
With you talking about the different ways that you prepared for each event, what is your training looking like at the moment? Like, what sort of regime do you have? Is it a mix of strength and conditioning, a mix of cardio, or is it only braking that you're doing?
Well, from the new year, I've decided to renew everything I do. So I'm trying to break up all the old patterns and make new ones because I got tired of doing the same stuff that I've always done. So now I'm trying to create stuff that I've never done before. So I do that 3 days a week, where I go to practice, and let's say I'm practicing one set or one particular move, and I do that like over and over, and I film it, and then I see how it looks, and then I try different things, like, okay, what if I put this foot here, or what if I grab there, or what if I add a spin there, and then I just do it over and over until I find something that I feel like this is nice, and then I try to work on that to make that as perfect as possible. And then I do 1 day a week. I do conditioning. I do hit training. So I start with rowing 6,000 meters, and then I have like some 5 different exercises, not breaking but similar. Like one of them is 6 step, but just basic 6 step, and then another one could be like something for the abs, and then one of them could be like box jumps, and different every time. And then I do 40 seconds of work, 30 seconds off, times 5, and then with 2 minutes break, and then I do it again, 2 minutes break, and then again. So what I'm trying to make it is like 5 solos and then 2 minutes break, 5 solos, so in total 15, but not breaking, not like where I have to think about the sets I'm doing or the music or anything. It's just for the conditioning. So so that's what I do now, and I do 1 day a week. I do strength, so just to strengthen up everything that I need. I I've been struggling with my adductors a lot, so I spent that day to strengthen the adductors extra, and I also do it a little bit for every warm up. And then just the day after the strengthening the abductors, I don't do windmills and flares or stuff like that. So that's how it looks like now. But as we're going into a more battle season, I'm gonna focus more on, let's say, calling out a crew member or calling out someone else at the battle, or just act like a battle, but try to do the hit training, but with actual braking, so that I get into the stamina that I need, and doing it to the music, and also how to do the sets or the moves. And also if I fail, I kind of have to save myself. And we do a lot of shows and stuff in Norway, so I try to do that a lot there, putting in the new stuff. So, and there is an audience there, so falling is not an option. So if I fail at something, I have to save it somehow, just like it would be in a battle.
Sounds like there's a lot of moving parts, and it's all prepared, I guess, all far in advance, because for the amount of dancing that you're doing, not only with the training and the battling, but also with the shows as well, it's not like you can turn up to a session and just, I don't know, think on the spot what you want to do. I'm assuming that you have to really plan things out a lot.
Yeah, I do plan what I'm gonna do, but then again, if I one day feel very creative or just feel like dancing and just freestyling, then I do that as well. So it's got to be a mix between those, but it's important to, when I go to practice, that I actually do some work that is important, that I don't just play around and waste the time and also energy. So it's a fine line to to be there, but also it shouldn't be only practicing this mover and this set, because then it can tend to be a little boring as well. And also we all dance because it's fun.
And then what would you say are the benefits to incorporating your hit training as well as your dancing training? Because it seems to be within the last like 8 to 10 years, there's been more of a focus where dancers like Moi and Hat Solo have been using this type of training a lot more, and they're showing the various exercises you can do in addition. And it seems like we're going into this new wave of like breaking athletes. I mean, I don't like the term, but I guess there's more of an emphasis on your strength and your fitness as a whole as a dancer, and not just relying on only your skills.
Yeah, I think it's important to have like a good conditioning, because if, like, you can be as fresh as you want, but if you don't have the stamina or the strength to do your moves good enough, it's gonna look sloppy. So I've heard the term arthlete, which is a term I like a little bit. And I mean, like, the hit training and the strength training is just it's just like the base. That's the base of you, and so that's gonna help you do everything. Like if I want to do footwork or top rock or power moves, or combine them, everything, it helps me execute better. It helps me have a better stamina when I do it, and it also helps me, like when I finish a solo, I can still breathe normal. I can still think and not be like like exhausted afterwards, and stressed because of that. If I'm gonna lose a battle, it's not gonna be because I run out of breath. It's gonna be because the other guy is better than me.